It's funny, one of the questions that my friends ask me about my near-death experience, because they know how much it affects my life and my past life. People who've known me for 30 years. Is, what did it feel like? What did it feel like? You know, I've tried to explain it. It's extremely difficult. Um, to be honest, I didn't notice any change. I didn't notice anything about me that wasn't me. But the atmosphere, the fiber of wherever that place is was love and understanding. Not forgiveness, no finger pointing, none of that. It was love and understanding. Period. No exception. I was still a little boy, except I had all knowledge. It's how to, there's no way to put that into words. I was still a little boy. I knew I wasn't on where I was. I knew that I was in a different place, a different existence. I knew it absolutely. And without going into the experience itself, I had lots of weird feelings, okay? But none of them were fear or anger or revenge or, any ire. That was all of that. All of it was gone. It's so hard to put into words. You're innocent. You see, as a little boy, I really hadn't done enough or not done enough to affect the universe. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was just a little boy. I wasn't a big tool, a big cog in this system here, so I wasn't making big effects. But I would later on if I went back. Simple as that. I would if I went back. Again, without going into the whole experience, I did have feelings, but none of them were the human, none of them could be felt by an animal. How about that? The level of love, understanding, and knowledge cannot be contained in a physical form of any kind. I felt other emotions one time there. I did feel something just for a moment that was more understanding than love. And that was when they were showing me my life if I went back until the why in my existence, the split in my existence, this way or that way. And I said, will I be rich? And in my mind, I'm thinking, for some reason, tuxedos and big, mansions with servants. You know what I mean? Traditional wealth. And I felt their not disappointment, but understanding that that is so human, that this is the problem with the human existence. I could feel it in them that it hurt them. It didn't hurt me, but it hurt them. And they said, "You'll be rich, but not in that way." So yeah, there was something other than just love and understanding. But basically, that's what it is. And you have all knowledge. Nothing is hid from you, and you can hide nothing. We're informational beings. We're quantum entities. We're corporeal chunks of time, space, and energy, and information, and everything that we affected during our lives, and everything that affected us during our lives, and then that's kind of like one part of this giant web of different sentient life forms. That was kind of one of the things in my near-death experience that was evident, was that there were different life forms around what I can only describe as God. And they were lined up in order of spirituality, advanced mentally, no animal whatsoever left in them. And it went progressively outwards for light years, untold trillions, you know. And yeah, spirituality probably matters more than anything else about the existence after this. Now, do you advance there? Well, no matter where you sit in that ring around God, no matter where you are, you can live the existence from birth to death of any life form that is there. And they can live your life every moment perfectly as if they were that person. I always have this weird thought, am I another being living my existence, what, for the 1,000th time because it's found to be interesting? Fuck, I don't know. That's too deep a philosophy for me. I just know that we're lucky. We're on the far outside of that ring. Emotions were, it's to describe having all knowledge was to ask a question that was important, and the questions that I asked were so precise in the way I asked that the answer was this big. The way I asked the question, the answer was concise, pure, so much so that it shook me to my core. One of the most harrowing things that I held on to, if you want to talk about emotion and how I was affected, was when I came back. Yeah, it was all I could think about for years. If that tells you how profound the question and answer was. It's the only way I can describe it for you to try to imagine the depth. Was that the answer staggered me so much that for years after coming back, being resuscitated, it drove me crazy. It was that intense. Hmm. Yeah. No, you're so different that it's too hard to describe. You're not human. You're no longer human, but you're not an advanced being. Nor are you any wiser. It's just that information is the existence there. And you can travel anywhere in any time for any distance instantly. There is no question that cannot be answered by some sentient consciousness that had lived before or after you had asked that question there. Kind of weird because time doesn't work there. So you can get answers from people of this dimension's future or another planet. As humans, we're so fucking arrogant that we don't think there's beings out there that live for 20,000 years because their medicine is so much more advanced than ours, or that they choose to put themselves into biological bodies or mechanical bodies. Yeah, we're naive to think that hasn't been accomplished trillions of times already. They're starting to think now that we kind of fucked up on the age of the universe. The age of globular galaxy clusters and ship people. They're looking back now with the web and going, One, I heard a number as big as 27 billion years. That we got it all fucking wrong. Yeah. You'll still be you. That's the wonderful thing. That's the fantastic thing. The most perfect thing. It's the most perfect thing because everybody's an individual. It's the most perfect thing is that you don't become, it's weird, you become part of God's existence, but you're still a separate individual. It's the price you pay for what you did or didn't do that harmed or caused harm, or harm you could have stopped and didn't. You're responsible for that. You're responsible for that. It's one of the reasons why you can't commit suicide, because you won't be doing what you're supposed to be doing that's going to save others, or not save others that you could have saved because you were selfish and decided you just were going to leave. Doesn't work that way. Again, that's a whole video in itself. Okay, I've tried to explain it. The only way that I can, the intensity of the emotion there, the intensity of the love and understanding and acceptance was that when I asked the question about why this place, why this physical existence had to be done, and the answer was so beautiful and pure and perfect that all I could think of for 5-6 years was, of course. And I came back with every bit of that feeling when I woke up. I was so angry that I had been awakened. Okay, that's enough. It's too hard to explain. My mind goes back and I start feeling those sensations immediately. It's too hard. It can't be explained. It's so, but you don't want to come back. You don't want to come back. My kids will be fine. They don't need me. Yeah, you don't want to. You understand everything. You can just simply look and see their future, and they're going to be fine. And it's just too much for the human mind to comprehend. It really is. I can only put it in human terms, but I'm missing the actual flavor and the intensity of it by a million miles.